And he was all keyed up, as he always was, about the tours and all, you know. And he couldn't sleep, so, you know, naturally we played racquetball, and that way he could get his mind off of what he was getting ready to do come the following day. We were supposed to leave and do the tour. And he was real excited about it. We had talked about it for, you know, well, gosh, an hour or so, about how good the tour was going to be, what changes were going to be made, and things like that. So he was really keyed up and looking forward to it.
We really had great expectations about that. I think, though he did on every tour, he loved it more than anything, I think, in the world. He loved his music.
Well, after we had played racquetball for about 2.5 hours, me and Elvis went upstairs, and he had washed his hair, and I was drying it for him. And again, that's what we were talking about, the tours and all. And he said, you know, this will certainly be my best tour ever. And he was really looking forward to it. And I guess I stayed out there probably till about 7:15 or 7:30, and then I went home to get some sleep because we had to get up early that afternoon, and I had to wake him up that afternoon, which would have probably been around 5 or 5:30.
I had gone out to get a few last-minute things that I needed to take on tour because we were leaving with him, and I had already packed and everything. And I was right in front of the gate, and I saw an ambulance come down the drive, and I saw a few of the guys that were running behind the ambulance. And the first thing I thought of was his grandmother. And so I went on up into my house, and the phone rang, and I can't remember, I think Patsy told me that Elvis had been taken to the hospital.
My cousin called me, who works in the office, Patsy Gamble. It's Elvis's first cousin, too, double first cousin, in fact. She called me about somewhere around 1:45, and said they had taken him to the hospital. And, of course, he had been in and out of the hospital several times, so it really didn't shock me at first until she started crying. And she said, it kind of looks bad. And when she said that, then I just kind of dropped the phone and headed for the first thing I could find, which was my motorcycle at that time. It was the only thing parked there, and Joe had gone out in the car, so I was going to get on it. And about that time, David Stanley came up in his car, and we immediately got in and went to the hospital. And not until Dr. Nick came out of the other room where they were working on Elvis did I realize that, he was dead.
And so I talked to somebody, and I said, well, how is he? What happened? And they said, Joe, he's gone. And it was just total disbelief. I froze. And then I remembered talking to Lisa on the phone, and she said, Joe, my daddy is dead. And I said, no, Lisa, no. I said, he's just sick. He's not, he'll be okay. And she said, do you promise? And I said, yes. And everybody, it was just total confusion. It was like a nightmare. Everybody was running. Within just an hour, people had swarmed in. We couldn't even go out of Graceland. It was, the crowds were so heavy outside the gates. Still, it was like it was happening to somebody else. It was like Elvis couldn't die. I couldn't accept it for a long time. Sometimes it bothers me because being close to somebody like Elvis, and as far as I'm concerned, there'll never be anybody else like him. And I grew up around him. He was the way of life for us.
We were good friends.
I say Elvis was love, and I know that all the people he touched know that too.